Hi guys, welcome back to Slash 2. I'm Charlie.
I'm Kyle.
And we've got a slight update this week. The update is there's still no Instagram.
Yeah, we're just getting stonewalled.
Yeah, there's no reply, so... Oh well, I've managed to upload some pictures on Facebook though of them. We're currently sat with Luna on my knee, because if we don't, she starts screaming today.
And we're back in the recording tent, which you left us a nice little smell, didn't you?
Yep, had to fart us out, and then we've had to come back and try recording again, so...
Yeah, so here we are.
Hopefully second time's a charm.
Yeah.
But anyway, this week we are going to be talking about basically everything you know about the gaming industry.
I wouldn't go that
your
far.
background with gaming retail and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So let's go back to 2007. World of Warcraft was hitting its peak. The PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 were at each other's throats, and the Wii was dominating like the casual market, along with the DS in some sort of like tag team combo. And every parent wanted to get a console for their kid. And I'd just left college and found a job after being unemployed for quite some time. Like my first job I landed was stacking shelves at a store called Game Station, which for those of you outside of like the UK, I know that Game Stations exist in like different stores, but this was like a chain. Their biggest rival was Game, and I stayed at Game Station for 5.5 years and watched it fall from grace.
Yeah, basically. Basically what happened is Game Station got sold to the owners of Game.
From Blockbuster.
From Blockbuster. It was a Blockbuster thing. And the owners of Game were sort of freaking out because Game itself was starting to go down. So they took the opportunity. They got sold. So part of Blockbuster that was absolutely... It was the only thing in Blockbuster that was doing well, really. Yeah. They got sold it. So once Game started really, really struggling, they just shut down Game and rebranded Game Station as Game. So it had all the same branding, all the same logos, and just swapped companies.
So when you see a game that's got like a mucky floor and like a sort of granite-style worktop for a counter, that's a Game Station. So it was a sad story, really, because loads of people lost their jobs. Loads of people had to relocate and go through quite a few hardships. And I actually distinctly remember a woman kicking off about her reward points, and she was told several times by different members of staff, including a manager, that her points would carry across to Game Station. And she wouldn't get off like any of our backs about it. And there was a guy who came out the back with tears streaming down his face, saying, "I don't care about your points. I'm losing my job. I can't pay my rent next week now. And you care about your points." And the woman's tune totally changed. She was just like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I never saw it that way." And I was like, yeah, because those guys weren't getting paid at that point. They were doing that work unpaid, like from the goodness of their hearts, because we cared about the industry. But we can touch on that more later. Sort of my early years working in gaming retail is quite fun. So Game Station was like made for gamers. It weren't none of this sort of like, oh, you need to sell a console and ram like 50 controllers down the throat at the same time. It was one of them where you could be like, oh, here's this game. Oh, I totally recommend this if you haven't played it already. And like you would start back and forth, and you would actually have quite a chat with people. And people used to come in and ask for us to recommend games to us. Yeah,
that was the big thing as a sort of customer, as it was between the two. You went to Game for a nice, shiny, clean shop. Where the staff maybe didn't know 100% of the stuff about the games, but they could tell you where things were. You knew what you went in for. You went in, you bought the thing, and you left again.
It weren't just that. Like the way
thing with Game Station is it was a much more personalised experience.
Yeah.
You went in, you had they had a lot of second-hand games as well, which Game at the time didn't really do. It was all fresh out of the box stuff.
Yeah, their pre-owned sections were tiny.
So Game Station was more, I want to talk to people about games, I want to get recommended stuff, I want to have a look at alternate things that don't... And as well, at the time, Game didn't really have any memorabilia. Game was just games and consoles. Whereas Game Station, you had t-shirts, you had bags up on the wall, you had, figures and all sorts as well, extra to look at.
We had something very special for a short amount of time, courtesy of Jo, our old manager, bless her. She gave me the go-ahead to get all of the, the Wii controller gun blasters and build a gun rack basically behind the counter made of Wii guns.
That is cool.
Yeah, we had this like modular assault rifle that I took extra pride in making sure it was bang at the centre. We had loads of cool stuff like that. I mean, where else can a 17-year-old play with a shrink wrap machine? I'll never Like my colleague, Big Dave, if he's listening, love you, shrink wrapped his whole hand.
Oh god.
And it was like the best thing ever.
Isn't it
like,
hot?
Yeah.
Just burn your hand, it's fine.
If you do it, if you've
fine.
got the right finesse. It took me a while, but I could shrink wrap anything. And we used to challenge each other. We used to find the most awkward controllers and be like, yeah, I'm going to shrink wrap this. Or find the most random thing ever to shrink wrap. But no, all in all, we were like a little family. We were like a little unit. A lot of us came and went, but through the 5.5 years, like the hardcore staff stuck around. I've made some amazing friends, had some amazing, relationships out of it with people. And I learned a lot about the industry back then. I mean, moving on after a little while, sort of Christmas was coming up and everyone was panicking. And at this point, I'm still pretty green because I've never been in retail at Christmas. And everybody's like, we got to hold the counter down. We need to make sure everything's stocked. Our delivery guy, Brian, I'd still pull his finger to this day. It's so funny. He used to come in and get everybody with it. He was doing like 3 or 4 deliveries a day. And it is literally like some sort of siege. Like, customers would come in from 8:30 in the morning when we opened all the way till 10 o'clock at night. We would have to ask people to leave. The store was getting constantly trashed. We had people trying to steal stuff. We had more money going through the tills than the tills could hold, so we were having to do cash pickups every single day. It was like all or nothing. And people would kick off over the smallest things. Like, we've not got this particular game in stock, even though it's a game that's like 6 years old and only 3 copies ever got shipped. All the way to people just being like, your music's terrible. And it's like, we were Game Station, we were like this grubby store that were playing Rammstein at Christmas. Like, what more do you want? It's awesome. And like, because the hardcore gamers, the alternative crowd, they used to come to Game Station. Families used to go to Game. Doris, who's 900 years old, wants to get her son, like, Call on Duty, and she doesn't know what to get. They'll just ram them down her throat, and then she'll be like, £900 later, she's gone. Where we'd be like, oh, he'll probably want this one, or he'll want this one, and then you're like, oh, this is the latest one. And we took us time, and we took a lot of pride, and we built up this amazing customer base. But it didn't last forever. So I always forget the year, because it's been a while now. But around the time Mass Effect 3 was due to come out. Now, this is only what I can only go off at this point, so this is not like, don't hold this against me. The supply for that game, EA wanted us to take a loss on it. They wanted us to sell it at a ridiculous price and basically make nothing on it. And from what I gather, the people at head office, because at this point we were acquired by Game, so it was Game people running it, not Game Station people. Some sort of dispute fell out with them, and EA basically pulled all their titles. No FIFA, no Mass Effect, no Battlefield or whatever else they make, apart from money and evil. And then Nintendo pulled out after.
Yeah.
At this point, all the game stores were like, oh shit, we're not getting any new stock. While the Game Station stores were limping along on their pre-owned. And we were actually offering more pre-owned money, like trading credit, whatever you want to call it, on those EA titles so that we could get them back out and sell them. Literally, it was, I'd trade a game in, my colleague next to me, Josh, would go, is that just been traded in? I'm like, the customer's like, you definitely want to trade this, yeah? I'd give it to him,
because he's
and it would
currently
go
selling
straight back out. Like, it wouldn't even see the shop. It would literally show us a digit on the system and go straight back out, because the customers were that desperate for them, and we were really struggling. But hats off to Sony, they dug deeper with us, and like, they supplied us extra stock, extra consoles, other things that we could sell that weren't those games. Well, the rest is history, I guess. We all got taken over, which kind of sucked. Yeah, so Sony gave us extra stock and extra kit to keep us ticking over, along with all the pre-owned stuff that customers were bringing in. And everything was going really well for us, but obviously for Game, everything was falling apart. A bunch of their stores got shut down. We had staff come across from different stores. One day you'd walk in and your colleagues would be off and there'd be other colleagues in their place from other stores you've never met before. Granted, I've made some great friends through that, but like, when Game came in...
You need consistency.
Yeah. There was no consistency and everything was a mess. And a bunch of people foresaw this. But when the last Game Station store disappeared, like, that was it. I mean, we even had a wage dispute in Ireland. I can't remember whereabouts in Ireland it was. But basically, sorry, I've got a cat on me. She's been very
You're not
wriggly.
sure where in Ireland it was, but...
No, I'm not sure where it was in Ireland, but essentially there was a lock-in. And you can Google this, it was on the news for a little while. Basically, unpaid wages. So what they did were they camped out in the stores. Customers brought them food and snacks.
Aww.
And essentially they just sat around playing on the stock until they eventually got paid. I don't know if they did or not in the end. It sort of all went a bit hush, but that was one of the things that came out of it. But when GameStation went, that was like our last bastion sort of thing for the high street. Like, there's nowhere that the hardcore gamers could go now because everything's so widespread. You'd be hard pushed to find somebody in a game store nowadays who isn't a temporary member of staff who actually cares about video games.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, we went into my local game, which, like you, as soon as we walked in, you said this used to be a game station.
Yeah.
This used to be a game station. You could tell by the flooring, because they didn't redecorate. It was exactly the same as it always was.
Yep.
Just different branding. And I remember you mentioning to one of the guys on the back there, I know for a fact that at least one of the guys that works there is an original game station employee.
Yeah.
I think he's the new manager at the minute. Or he is a manager there, sorry. And, yeah, whenever we go, because you've still got a game station card that you use for your awards, don't you?
Yeah, the staff elite card.
And everybody mentions it. Every time you're like, I'm not sure if you still take this, and every time they're like, yes we do.
Yeah, as soon as he saw that card, his tone totally changed. He was like, he's one of us.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just... It is what it is. And if I could go back, I'd do it all again, because it was, for me, and probably will be, the best job I've ever had. Imagine getting up every morning as a gamer and being like, sweet, I'm going to go work in a game shop. And, like, you get to work, you're stocking games, you're selling games, you're trying out new games. So we had reps that used to come in from, like, Sony, Nintendo. They were great. So they would either bring, like, demo consoles, so, like, when the 3DS came out, we had these reps in that had the consoles tethered to their, like, belt. Looked really weird because it came out
so
the
they
front.
Can't get stolen.
Yeah, but it like came out the crotch nearly, so it was just like, okay, this is weird, but yeah, okay.
You wouldn't want to find a Wii that's been pulled out someone's crotch, so...
No. And there was the Sony guy who used to bring Vitas in, but he was just like, here, go nuts. And like, just give the console to us, and like, oh my god, this is pre-release.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. You got games early, you got a nice discount. I mean, you're not really supposed to talk about that too much, I guess, but... You saved a shitload of money.
Most companies give their staff a discount. I don't think that's anything to worry about.
The game station discounts were way better than the game discounts.
I mean, one of the things, since you're on about reps as well, I know you mentioned last week about the reps trying to bump up, because you guys used to have basically a staff chart, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you would play the games and you would decide what went on your personal charts?
It was based on sales mainly, but we were allowed free reign over some of the lower sections. So the top like 5 or 10 were based off sales and requests, I guess, if you want to call it that, from certain representatives and companies that would say, we'd like our game to be at this point in the chart or somewhere near it, please.
Well, the reps would say that, the companies wouldn't.
The way we would do it is we would... Like, when a new game came out, we'd just put it at number 1 in chart. Simple as. Because that's where customers used to look. They'd be like, oh, it'll be in chart, it's a new game. And you would sort of like bump the games down, so the game that was in the chart one last week would be at number 2, and vice versa, and so on. But sometimes we used to just like be like, yo, this is a banging game, it's like 3 years old, but fuck it, it's going in the chart. Because it was a good game, and we would shift them.
Try and renew, if you'd got a lot of stock of a game you knew was decent, why wouldn't you push it and let some new people...
Speaking of that, the never-ending flow of FIFA and Call of Duty. Just if you buy one of these games, like personally, I think they're garbage games, but that's because I don't really like them. I don't enjoy football, and Call of Duty as well. It's a cookie cutter game now. But like spare a moment for the people that you're trading these into, because they probably have a pile twice their own height in the back of this goddamn game. Like, we were inundated with FIFA games. Like, we're talking from like FIFA 06 like up. When a new FIFA game came out, like droves of people,
all the old ones get returned,
to the point where I could build a fort, and I did build a fort out of FIFA games.
I believe you. I know what you're like.
Like, there's nothing more agonising than having to box up like 300-400 copies of FIFA to be sent back to head office, which are probably going to get destroyed. A game of that caliber should be download only, because the amount of paper and plastic and disc that's wasted on that game is unreal. Just download it to your console and pay for an update every year, because there's no point, an annual game like that comes out like clockwork, no point having a physical release for it.
Yeah, but the issue is that the companies don't make money if they do that.
I guess. Well, we don't make money doing that. Like, the profit margin on pre-owned was ridiculous compared to new.
Yeah, for the shop though, the game company would still make a decent profit.
It's EA, they'll make profit either way.
I always get the new Sims. I always get all the expansion packs, and I hate it because I know I'm being conned. I know I'm being played.
This is the thing. I mean, on the opposite end of the stick, though, we've got games like Mass Effect. I am a huge Mass Effect fan. I absolutely love it. And it's one of those titles that I can go back to and play again and again and again. And I'm not going to lie, I may have it on one or more formats, because that's just what I'm like. And when those three games were amazing, if that was peak EA, even though it was like they're just a publisher, they had BioWare under their belt, and they were making these like titles like hit after hit after hit. And then Andromeda came out, and because it didn't sell so well at first, and because of like internal politics, which everybody knows about by now, the game tanked, and there's people like me who are huge fans of it who are never going to sort of get a continuation, because I loved the story. I thought it was great. The fresh characters were amazing. You could build up those connections again like you did with the old characters, and it was really fun. And then on the other side of it, it's just like FIFA. It's like
the thing is that you don't understand casual gaming in that way.
I wouldn't call FIFA a casual game. Like,
That's
the people are fiercely competitive about it.
Okay, so Overcooked that we play.
Yeah.
That is a casual game. But it still makes you stressed as out, doesn't it?
We don't play that like it's a casual game. That is not a casual
That's
game.
The thing.
That is a game that starts a fight.
Next week's episode is about casual, in quote, gaming. Because any game can be played casually.
Yep.
And casual games can be played competitively. There's no... It's a hard line to blur, and I think the thing with FIFA is that, people get stressed and angry about it, but they play it to relax, they play it to unwind, they don't play it to get lost in a world and a story.
No, that's not what I'm getting at all. What I was getting at is that it's one of those games that gets churned out annually every year.
Yeah, because it's, again, something people play casually and they know they can make money from.
But if you took, like, FIFA 08 and FIFA 09, apart from an updated player roster, there's, like, no difference.
I know.
It's what I like to call Call of Duty syndrome.
I know. Well, look at, what have we got? The King games on your mobile. Candy Crush. All the Candy Crush games are the same game.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They're just slightly repackaged.
And it just amazes me that people are daft enough to, like, to rebuy them. I'll be honest, I only own one FIFA game, and I got given it, mate. And it's for, like, the PlayStation 1.
But, like I say, different people have different reasons for gaming and different preferences. And, like I say, what I look for in a game is different to what you look for in a game.
Oh, God, yeah.
And we can play the same game and play it completely differently.
We do. But it's what makes it interesting.
I mean, when we're playing even Overwatch, I'm sat there, like, just wanting to have fun, do some stuff. I'm not that bothered if we win or lose. You get really angry sometimes.
Yeah, when I'm fucking, like, balling out of control. You're at the back just like, don't die, keep healed. And I'm just, like, balls deep in the mech, like, absolutely destroying this team.
And then we lose and he starts swearing.
When do you not? To be fair, Overwatch has got quite an interesting fan base. It can either be like you'll click with like 3 or 4 other people, and you'll like have a good like hour or 2 session of just constant wins, and then Hanzo comes along, and and everything just falls apart.
But yeah, what I'm saying is there's different ways to play games, and even that game we play completely differently. So I don't look down. I don't worry too much. Yeah, I don't like things like Call of Duty. I don't like things like FIFA. It's not my sort of thing. And generally, the fan base, the types of people that do go for those games, I don't get on with. But that doesn't mean that everyone who plays FIFA's and FIFA is just a bad game. Like,
I think what it is,
it's just different perceptions.
The years of like selling it, if you would,
have jaded you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have been very jaded by that job. Like the Call of Duty players, we never used to label them as gamers because, like, we'll put it this way, right? Midnight launch, Call of Duty Black Ops whatever, 2, 3, 9, 40.
Spec the line, whatever.
Yeah, 0.5.
I know these are words that are related with Call of Duty. I don't know if they're any of
Hardcore
the
Barrel
Black Ops
Roll
series.
Edition, you know, whatever they call it now. Worked the midnight launch, sold it to this guy, went home, went to bed, came back in for my shift at 10 o'clock the next morning. He came to trade it in.
Mm-hmm.
He lost 15 quid on that game in the space of less than 9 hours. He went home, he played the campaign, he completed it, which, by the way, Call of Duty are neglecting the campaign now, the one thing that kept people buying it, apart from the army of 9-year-olds. But yeah, so like, he just traded it straight out. I was like, don't you want to play the multiplayer? Like, that's why people...
The Nazis, killing the Nazis on a lot of them. The zombie Nazis.
Zombie Nazis, yeah. Left for COD.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was the only bit of COD that I ever found fun, and it was playing with a group of friends doing that sub-campaign.
Have you ever played Left 4 Dead?
Yeah.
What did you think to it?
Alright, it was the sort of thing, again, that I like to play with other people.
Yeah, of
like,
course,
if you've got a good group of people, all who have the game, you can sit together. I didn't really have a lot of access to that growing up, the people to play it with, so I played it a few times, it was okay. It was fine, there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it just reminded me when you were talking about it. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a full released high quality version of that somewhere. Oh yeah, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I mean, most of these games will end up playing live at some point on the stream.
Well, next week for the casual gaming thing, just to sort of give the guys on here a taste of what we'll be doing, we're going to play maybe 1 or 2 casual games, and sort of we'll discuss how we both attack them differently.
We'll get a list. If anyone can recommend any, because we can record this later in the week than we normally do.
Yeah.
If anyone can recommend any, get it up by, say, Tuesday. Send it to us, tweet us, Facebook us, whatever, with casual, quote-unquote, games that you would like to hear about and would like us to play.
Yeah.
And we'll have a natter about them. I mean, stuff like, I have a game called Balls, which you get really irritated at me playing, don't you? It's a little pea shooter game. It's just mindless fun to unwind.
I was like, why are you watching that Instagram advert? And then I realised you'd got the game.
Yeah, I've had the game for years.
Then, like, my idea of a casual game is to lay in bed on Diablo 3 on the Switch.
Yeah.
And like
Which game is a severe game played casually.
Well, I wouldn't say I was playing it casually, but I'd say I was in a casual resting position.
But yeah, we'll discuss a bit more. So if you guys want to send us recommendations or whatever, and we'll have a bit of a play next week and
definitely
and record it all.
Yeah. But with so with my experience working game retail, I can definitely say it's one of the best jobs you can ever have. If you were like I was when I was 17 and absolutely terrified of speaking to anyone outside your own personal friend group or family, getting thrown in the deep end with that was excellent, especially when someone just comes up to you, well, you mind your business stacking shows, asking you where something is on your first day, and you're like, I think it's over there. and then by the end of it, I was just like, die. Not literally.
No, not literally.
But it's the Bernard Black thing. If you've ever watched Blight Books, totally recommend it. That's what I was sort of getting like at the end of my career.
You start to get very, very jaded.
Yeah.
But so question: who was the best customer you ever had? What was the best customer experience you ever had?
Oh God, I can't remember his name, but his eldest son Liam, I'm still friends with him and talk to him now. Really nice Australian guy. He always used to ask for me or my colleague Josh. He'd come to us because we weren't scared of like opening stuff and showing it him. Like we had this stupidly expensive like Turtle Beach headset in, and it was like, could I have a look at it? And he was expecting me at first just to bring the box down, which I did. But then I opened it and put it out there, and he was like, "Well, I weren't expecting that." I ended up selling it him. That was one of the best experiences when you can sort of like tailor it. And there was other stuff as well. Like we used to go above and beyond. Like it was really busy, and we had a customer in a wheelchair, and he couldn't get near the till for life. And I saw him in the corner, so I zipped down and I was like, "You're right, buddy." And he wanted to buy Assassin's Creed, and I was like, "Sure, okay, I can help you with that." So I kicked one of the tills into gear and ran the transaction through and went back to him and said it's going to be this much, and he gave me the cash. So I did the entire transaction and sent the money across to him with the game, without him having to battle through the queue. And he was so happy, and like he wouldn't stop saying thank you and this, that, and other. And I was just like, it's cool, man. The store is really narrow. Like there's like they
were never like Game Station were really bad for walking space, and they They still are. So the game station that's local to us that became a game, you can't walk.
It was
Like,
so tight.
You can't walk two abreast there.
No, you can't.
So the other question I had then is the opposite. What was your worst customer experience?
So, you know how the good and bad experience things work, where if you have a good experience, you'll tell like 2 or 3 people. If you have a bad experience, you'll tell like 8 or
50,
9.
yeah.
Imagine that, but instead of it being telling, being actually experiencing them.
Mm.
So, like, one of the worst customer experiences I had was a customer who, basically, we weren't taking his trade-ins. He brought in a console that was covered in some nondescript liquid. It was red. He brought in some smelly games that stank of tobacco and, like, paraphernalia. And generally, within himself, he wasn't a very...
hygienic.
Yeah. And when I said I wouldn't take his items, he started going off about it was discrimination and this, that, and the other. And in the end, I was just like, dude, just clean your stuff and bring it back. I can't trade this console and we don't have the stuff to clean them in the back. Mm. And, like, it was just horrible. And the manager came out and the manager was just like, go. Just go. We're not dealing with your stuff here.
So this nondescript red liquid, was it a biohazard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just flat out, you just can't.
Totally justified.
You just can't. Like, my mum used to work out PC World. If anything had potential biological material on it, it had to go straight out. They weren't allowed to even attempt to repair it. It was done.
Was it like a certain brand of mayonnaise?
No, more often than not, someone's whose cat or dog has accidentally...
Have you ever been so angry you shit on a laptop?
But yeah, that was the thing though, or baby has...
Stuff.
Yeah, like... Baby's been sat on mum's lap while she's on the laptop as well, and baby's nappy's overflowed, and it's not good. And like I said, they can't even touch it.
Don't baby on Facebook. Yeah, it's not well. It ends in sticky keys.
But yeah, I've got some terrible stories from when I was in bar work and stuff, but never quite as bad as severe biological material.
No, but yeah, so that was my career, if you would, in gaming retail. And I just want to say all the past colleagues that I've worked with, and some that I still work with now that have followed me to my new job. You know, I loved working with every single one of you. I have made so many memories. One day I'll probably bump into all you guys again, and then you'll hear this shitty podcast and be like, oh, it wasn't like that at all. You fell over, you know, or something stupid like that.
You were an absolute dickhead. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to say I wasn't. Come on, we've all got an arsehole. We all are an arsehole at some point.
Oh, God, yeah. You can never please everybody. You're never going to get on with everybody.
No, but there's more stories than we've probably got time for from that store. Including, like, well, I'll just touch this one. So this one's actually quite good. Trading some games in. Young lad. He's got his parents with him. Looking to trade in for, I think it was a DS Lite and a bunch of games. He just basically brought his 360 collection in. When we're on the counter, just so you got the picture, so you know you're the customer and I'm here, I open the box, check the back of the disc,
make sure it's not massively damaged,
put it back in, close it, put it down, next game. Gets to WWE 2008. I will never forget this. Opened it up, raining condoms.
What?
The kid went from like... just from being normal to being a glowing red mass. And I could feel the burn coming off him.
Were they used?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
And I looked at the parents.
Big Brother's stash, or...
I looked at the parents and I was just like, well, he's playing it safe. The dad is howling. The mom's head, like, hands are in a face.
Yeah, she's probably brighter than the kid.
So anyway, I just carried on scanning these games in. Put the condoms in the smallest bag we've got, and hand them back to the kid, because I just went, I'm sorry, we can't trade these in. And he took his voucher.
And he fucking ran.
Yeah, I'd never recall ever seeing him again.
Oh, bless.
But that was great. So, yeah.
I can't imagine the embarrassment. Jesus. Oh, you, sorry, I'm still laughing about that last one. You wanted to touch as well on some gaming news?
Yeah, a couple of things, really. I don't mean to stick my oar in, but let's talk about Metro Exodus. Yeah, even the cat wants to talk
Even
about
the
that.
cat is upset about it.
Yeah.
You can hear her jingling furiously in the background.
So, Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
Last minute switch to the Epic Store from Steam. Everybody seems to be sticking their oar in about this and has an opinion on it. My opinion on it is simply, I think that we should...
Fuck are you?
Yeah. We should be able to choose what platform we play our game on and what medium we get it from. But at the same time, like, don't shove another fucking client down my throat. I'm never going to install the Epic Store. I never want to play Fortnite. I don't particularly care about any games that Epic have made apart from Unreal Tournament. You know, but at the same time, I don't want to have another client because already I've got Steam, I've got Battle.net, I've got Uplay, I've got Origin, I've got GOG.
There's so many of them now. We don't need another.
And yeah, it might be the Steam pricing might not be ideal, but going off and starting up another store, and like there's other things that I found out. Like the Epic Store has a transaction fee, so even though they're selling the game $10 cheaper than anywhere else, they have regional pricing, which means it's going to cost more in some places than other, unlike Steam, which has got global pricing. And there's a hidden transaction fee that you don't find out about until you're just about to pay. So you're not actually saving $10 on the game.
No, you're probably spending about the same.
Pretty much, maybe. Well, who knows? But I don't want to infest my computer with their software. So, but Steam should lower their cut and give more to the developers because it's such a powerful platform with so many different community features and so many different options. And I don't want to see Steam die, but at the same time, I don't want to see it like. Well, I just don't want multiple stores and clients coming up. You know, it's cool. Sell the key somewhere else. You know, and then we'll just put the key into Steam after and get it for a lower rate. That's fine. I just don't want like a bazillion clients on my computer.
Yeah, and especially doing it so last minute specifically so that people wouldn't...
there's a lot of jaded fans out there that have started review bombing the earlier games. And in the reviews, hats off to them, they've actually said this is a great game, buy it. But we're doing it because of what's happened with the Epic Store and Deep Silver and everything like that. So that's where I wanted to stick my oar in on that. I will probably buy Exodus when it comes out on Steam, but I'm in no rush.
No, that's it. We'll probably wait for it now and see what happens. But
yeah, but
on a happier note,
on the back of Steam still, Pavlov VR. You've
been having so much fun with this. The
great VR Counter-Strike vomit roller coaster. I've put a few hours into this game and I absolutely love it. For $6.99, it's the best VR shooting experience.
Also, we are not sponsored. None of this is sponsored.
No, this is generally me.
It's just you can't stop gushing about it.
Please buy it so there's more people to play with. There's only like 10 servers at the minute at any given time. And I want more people to throw knives at and then run out with grenades because I still haven't figured out how to throw them.
Didn't you say someone like saw you?
Yeah, so we were playing Deathmatch. One of the people who play PUBG will get this straight away. They've put the Kar 98 in. And
don't worry, I don't get it either.
It's a World War II style sniper rifle.
Okay, cool.
Don't have a scope. And we were spawned in Team Deathmatch. I ran around the corner and one of my teammates spawned in front of me. Looked at the Kar 98, looked at me, shouted for the motherland, and ran through a door, only to have his corpse pirouette back out the doorway a second later. And there's such a comedy factor. Like I was having a gunfight with this guy, and we were both pretty knackered. And he went to try and reload. Obviously, with VR, you've got to do all the motions yourself. And he just dropped his gun to the floor.
Oh, no.
And did the team...
He fumbled.
He did the Team America help sign where he just waved his arms around wildly. So I was like throwing magazines and stuff at him. And he was just like, I can't pick my gun up. And I ended up just like finishing him off.
You gave him mercy for a few minutes, but when he carried on...
Yeah. And it's great. I think that VR's definitely got a future. Like just from that one game, I'm sold.
Speaking of games as well, so Pavlov's already out, but we've seen a trailer lately, haven't we?
Yeah, Atomic Heart.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably exploding before we put this out because this is going to be a week before it goes up.
Yeah, it's already got like 1.5 million views.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
To say it's like the first trailer that's dropped. And it's already like it says alpha footage, and it's astonishing. The graphics are amazing
for an alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's if you haven't seen the trailer, I definitely recommend watching it. It's got it's like a Soviet era sort of thing where the world's already got all the advancements it's got today, but they've got autonomous robots and stuff and weird, crazy, like, Cold War
floating
style.
water and all sorts. I'm really excited to learn more. Like, because I think we've spoken before, you're very much into gameplay, I'm very much into story. So I think it's going to be a good one for both of us. I'm very excited. Sorry, the cat's deftly trying to climb around our drinks at the moment. I'm trying not to let us spill anything.
Yeah, we're on Rockstar this week, in the tent.
In the tent. We should just open now. Just, hey guys, we're back in the tent.
Yeah, until we can build the recording booth.
Yeah.
Like, even though we don't have many listeners, we do care a lot about the people that
Shout out to our one YouTube subscriber.
Yeah, one subscriber. And all our colleagues from work that listen to us out of pity. We love you. Yeah, Atomic Heart. It's definitely got my pre-order money. And I fucking, the timing is impeccable. Because, like, Metro's going to hit the pan. And this other game's just here, like, hold my beer. So, the other game I've finally had time to watch a little bit of is the Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes. The big drop happened last week, didn't it? With a big 45-minute...
Was it last week? I thought it was before.
I thought it was last week.
I don't even know. Time... When you work in a call centre, time evades you. I thought it was Wednesday this morning. It's actually Sunday. So, but Cyberpunk, it looks awesome. Like, I'm just so excited. It's the game that Deus Ex should have been. And the fact that it's made by the people that made the amazing Witcher series just makes it all, just all the more exciting. Words can't describe it. But I pretty much stopped everything I was doing to watch all 40-odd minutes.
Really, really looks good. Like I said, that's something I'm seeing a lot more. Is we spoke a few weeks back about how people were putting so much into looking good that they weren't really thinking about story. I think we're starting to swing back now, and I'm very excited for it.
Yep. I mean, obviously, there's many exceptions to this. There are a few games that did have good story, but we're seeing more and more and more come out of the woodworks now, and using those graphics to create deep worlds that we're actually interested in, instead of just, look at this shiny.
I think one of the big things that did that, though, that helped orchestrate this massive turnaround is Undertale. That came out of the middle of nowhere with old, 8-bit style graphics, 16, but you know what I mean? Really shitty graphics for comparison to what we currently see, but it was 100% storyline.
Yep.
And it went massive. It was one guy sat faffing around on his own, and it went absolutely enormous. It's now one of the biggest games.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the major turning points. These companies went, okay, this game outsold us and outsold all of our AAA titles, and it's made by one dude.
Well, a better example.
And it looks like shit.
A better example of that's Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft. The thing is with Minecraft, it's not got story. That showed that people liked open world and liked building and doing their own thing.
Similar concept though. Like it was a game that didn't look particularly interesting in terms of like its graphics, but the gameplay was stellar. There was a path for everything. And the same way, like Undertale, the story is really what pulls it in. It's like the one thing, but what both games have in common is shitty graphics.
It shows that you don't need to be the most fantastic on the market to make money. You don't need to be that next level. And again, both of them, I mean, Minecraft's known for being famous for being built by a single man. I mean, it's not anymore, but when it started it was. It shows that there's a big push at the minute for indie and for...
Well, Nintendo have really got behind it. In their recent release, they've really made a push for independent developers to get in on this. So. Yeah. It's an exciting time to play video games.
It is. I think we're coming up to another big sort of renaissance and boom in gaming that's just about to hit in the next 10-15 years. Yeah. I'm very excited to see where it takes us. So I hope /2's still around for us to look back and go, fucking told you, mate! Fucking told you!
If only.
But I think we'll probably call it here this week then. We're about 40 minutes in. I've got a couple of things to call.
Many burps.
Many burps. Cal, you just burped so much.
Not even sorry.
Do we have a bit of advice for this week?
So...
We haven't discussed this. Normally we discuss these first off, so Cal might just say something completely off the wall now.
Something deep and well thought out. Raisins make excellent blue tack. No,
don't do that.
No.
I mean, next week is...
Casual gaming.
Yeah. I mean, again, the whole thing we said about as long as you're having fun in a game, you're playing it right.
Well,
but we've already done that one.
If I was to give some casual gaming advice, in terms of what that is, let's all talk about Wii Sports for a moment.
That will have gotten picked up beautifully by the mic.
Do you not want to talk about Wii Sports? So anyway, as I was saying, my advice this week is if you fancy playing a casual game of Wii Sports, beware of Matt. His power level is beyond belief, and you will lose every time.
Who's Matt?
So Matt is this it's like a bit of a meme, but like is this dude in Wii Sports who he's like the end boss on one of the mini games,
he's
and he's impossible to beat.
Pre-generated NPC sort of.
Yeah, exactly. But he'll kick your ass into the stratosphere. So beware of Matt. That's my advice. Beware of Matt.
Beware of Matt. You heard it here first.
And now I'm going to go find my copy of Wii Sports and get my ass kicked by him, just to prove a point.
Well, as soon as we finish these recordings, I sit down to start editing audio, and you go and start playing whatever games we've been talking about.
Pretty much, because it's just like, oh shit, I forgot about that. I should probably finish that. At some point, I will probably post on the group a picture of my entire collection. But at the moment, it sits in half a dozen. In storage, yeah.
We've got some of it here, we've started. But, we'll call it there for this week, guys. Thank you very much for listening in again. I look forward to speaking to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for all that. Thanks for your time.
Bye.